Imagine waking up 10 years from now in the same place, with the same routine, the same job, the same dreams you never chased, and the sinking realization that nothing really changed, except time moved on without you. Sounds safe? Or terrifying? What if I told you that the biggest threat to your success, your happiness, even your potential, isn't failure, but comfort? In this video, we're going to expose the invisible trap you're living in, and why staying safe might be the most dangerous choice of all. At first glance, your comfort zone might seem like the safest place on earth. It's warm, predictable, and devoid of uncertainty. It's where routines are mastered, risks are minimized, and surprises are few and far between. But the truth is far more sobering. Your comfort zone, while pleasant in the short term, is one of the biggest obstacles standing between you and the life you're capable of living. This video explores the psychology behind the comfort zone, how it limits personal growth, and why stepping outside of it is the single most transformative decision you can make. The comfort zone is a psychological space where a person feels familiar, safe, and at ease. In this zone, routines are established, habits are comfortable, and risks are either avoided or managed carefully. While this state is essential for recovery and well-being at times, prolonged existence within it fosters complacency, stagnation, and missed opportunities. We all need moments of calm and predictability. However, when the comfort zone becomes a permanent residence, it creates a false sense of security and limits our potential for progress. One of the most deceptive aspects of the comfort zone is the illusion of safety. Many people choose to remain where they are simply because it's familiar, not because it's fulfilling. They stay in jobs they don't enjoy, relationships that aren't nurturing, and lifestyles that don't inspire, all because change is uncomfortable. But here's the twist: what we perceive as safe can actually be risky in the long term. When you remain in the comfort zone, opportunities pass you by. You don't develop resilience. You fail to learn new skills. You're unprepared for change when it inevitably arrives. The greatest threat isn't external failure, it's internal stagnation. Human beings are wired to learn through challenge. From the time we're born, growth comes from encountering something new, struggling with it, and then adapting. Whether it's learning to walk, picking up a new language, or starting a new job, real growth always involves some degree of discomfort. Neuroscience supports this idea. When we step outside our comfort zones, our brains create new neural pathways. This process, called neuroplasticity, makes us smarter, more adaptable, and more creative. In contrast, sticking to the same routines uses the same brain circuits over and over, leaving little room for cognitive development. Every time you challenge yourself to do something unfamiliar, you're not just expanding your experiences, you're literally changing your brain. So, if growth lies outside the comfort zone, why don't more people seek it out? The answer is fear: fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of the unknown. Fear acts as the gatekeeper, convincing you that it's better to stay put than to risk it all. But here's the paradox: fear is also the compass pointing you toward what matters most. The things that scare you often reveal the areas of your life that are ripe for transformation. Public speaking, starting a business, ending a toxic relationship, and moving to a new city, all of these are terrifying because they disrupt the known. However, each of these decisions also opens the door to massive personal evolution. Remaining in your comfort zone has real, tangible costs. These costs may not be obvious at first, but they compound over time. 1. Missed opportunities. When you're unwilling to take risks, you miss out on life's biggest opportunities. Whether it's a career advancement, a creative project, or a meaningful relationship, the fear of stepping into the unknown often results in staying put while others move forward. 2. Stagnant growth. Progress requires change. Without stepping into unfamiliar territory, you stop learning. Over time, this leads to a decline in mental agility, problem-solving skills, and even self-esteem. 3. Regret. Perhaps the most painful consequence of all is regret. People rarely regret the things they tried and failed at. More often, they regret the things they never dared to pursue. As author Bronnie Ware notes in her book The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, one of the most common regrets people express near the end of life is, "I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me." 4. Emotional numbness. While the comfort zone might feel peaceful, it can also become emotionally dull. A life without challenge is a life without highs and lows, victories and defeats. It's a flatline existence, safe, yes, but lacking vibrancy and depth. Escaping the comfort zone doesn't mean diving headfirst into chaos. It means intentionally stretching yourself in small but consistent ways. Here's how to start. 1. Acknowledge where you're stuck. The first step is honest self-reflection. What areas of your life feel stagnant? Where are you choosing comfort over growth? Whether it's your job, your habits, or your relationships, identify the places where fear is keeping you small. 2. Set stretch goals. A stretch goal is something just beyond your current ability. It's not so far out of reach that it becomes overwhelming, but it's far enough to require effort and courage. Examples include running a half marathon when you're used to jogging, starting a blog, or learning a new skill like coding or painting. 3. Embrace failure. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's the path to it. Reframe failure as feedback. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who avoided failure, but the ones who used it to learn and adapt. 4. Build a support system. Surround yourself with people who encourage risk-taking, creativity, and authenticity. A support system makes it easier to navigate discomfort and provides perspective when things get tough. 5. Celebrate discomfort. Learn to associate discomfort with growth. When something feels scary or challenging, see it as a sign that you're evolving. Each time you push through discomfort, you become more capable and confident. Many of history's most impactful figures only achieved greatness by stepping far outside their comfort zones. Oprah Winfrey overcame poverty, abuse, and rejection to build a media empire by taking bold risks and refusing to stay small. Elon Musk, despite repeated failures with SpaceX and Tesla, continued to push the boundaries of technology and innovation. J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by numerous publishers, took a risk by believing in her story, eventually creating one of the most successful literary franchises in history. These individuals didn't succeed because they were fearless, they succeeded because they acted in spite of fear. It's important to distinguish between comfort and contentment. Contentment is a sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from within. Comfort, on the other hand, is externally tied to routine and predictability. You can feel content while facing challenges, as long as you know you're aligned with your values and purpose. In fact, true contentment often arises when we know we're growing, contributing, and living authentically, none of which can happen while trapped in the comfort zone. Every step you take outside your comfort zone sets off a ripple effect. A single brave decision like enrolling in a course, speaking up in a meeting, or moving to a new city can lead to unforeseen connections, skills, and insights. These small, brave acts accumulate over time, transforming not just your circumstances, but your identity. You begin to see yourself not as someone who avoids risk, but as someone who embraces life. You become more adaptable, more resilient, and more fulfilled. In conclusion, your comfort zone is seductive. It whispers promises of safety, routine, and predictability. But beneath that facade lies a quiet enemy, one that steals your potential, muffles your passion, and keeps you from becoming who you were meant to be. The life you want, the one full of meaning, connection, creativity, and impact, is waiting just beyond the borders of what feels safe. And while stepping outside your comfort zone might be scary, it is also the single most powerful thing you can do to claim your life. Because the truth is simple, growth begins where comfort ends. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.